Hello, the Romanian helmet arrived today and it's pretty cool, although quite a strange design. I'll show it a bit more detailed when a lot of people come on, if a lot of people come on. Now, it's a very hot day again, so apologies, I've got the air conditioner on, but I'm going to need that on today because this room had already got to like nearly 30 degrees despite having the curtains pulled and everything else, and me only having the computer on for like 2 or 3 hours so far today. So, yeah, it's very, very hot. I'm sure that means all the COVIDiots will be out to the beaches, packed in, spreading coronavirus around. So I'm doing a responsible thing and staying at home, staying away from people like you're meant to be doing. Right, somebody's spamming the chat, so I'll have to get rid of them straight away. Yeah, so this is a Romanian M73 helmet. And apparently it's basically just a Dutch helmet they carried on making. But yeah, it's quite a strange design on the liner because it's got like this extra flap here, and I'm not really sure what that's for. You can either have it like down or up, it seems. I don't know if that is literally just so you can have a bit of a neck protector there. That might literally be it, actually. It's quite a strange design. I've not really seen that of helmets before. What, you mean, Sturgeon, it's never a pleasant temperature? It's either too cold or too hot. I actually like the cold. I don't like the hot. James, we don't normally talk about politics on here. And the thing is, it's good to have a second house. If I'm just going to give you a quick opinion and don't ask another political question. But basically, my opinion on it is it's good that there's another house, but it needs serious reform. That sounds good, Warbird. I don't know quite what you mean by that, Jackal. Tinted for what sort of thing? All right, Mike. Is it really hot where you are today? It's already 30 degrees in the room, so I've had to put the aircon on. All right, your mother? At the moment, I probably won't be able to order anything just because of the annoying thing of having to sign in for, sign deliveries and stuff like that, and I'm back at work, so, it makes it quite difficult. Yep, it's a Romanian helmet, JJ. The Romanian M73. I'll get a video filmed on it later. It's quite a weird helmet, especially because it's got that like weird little back bit, which I assume is meant to fold out like that. But right, I'm just going to warn people: don't spam the chat with random stuff. I've already blocked one person's stream for spamming like the chat with random shit. Oh, at least you got the aircon on. Hello, Laser. Thank you very much. I'm all right, thank you. I'm back at work at least. So, that's good. Hello, Rishab. That's interesting. It says somebody was blocked, but I can't even see the comment that apparently was hidden. That's very strange. That's weird. It can be pretty much everything, but don't bring up politics and stuff like that nobody likes talking about. Yeah, it's a weird helmet. It's a bit like the East German one in terms of shape, isn't it? Like it's very conical. But apparently that meant it was pretty good in terms of protection. That's cool, Bottle Cutter. But yeah, it's an interesting helmet, isn't it? I don't know how much I like the liner design for it, but it does seem to be a good helmet. It's quite a strange sort of design, the liner on this, but yeah, it's steel. Okay, so it was somebody being racist. Right, they deserve that block totally then. But yeah, weirdly, the comment didn't even show up for me. That's good, Stug. The furnace is quite a nice mask. I mean, this helmet shouldn't have been used in Afghanistan, JJ, because it's not a Soviet helmet. I mean, whether or not these were sold as surplus to the Afghans or whatever at some point. The most modern one, Warbird, I'd say probably that, the Virtus helmet, just because it's the most modern liner that's very adjustable. But yeah, this seems an alright helmet in all honesty, but again, it's a bit of a strange liner system, but... Oh, okay, so yeah, they were just sold as surplus, and yeah, I was getting confused then, because I thought the Soviets wouldn't have used these, because it's not a Soviet helmet. Kevlar or thermoplastic Apache if you want it for actual protection. was trying to work out with this buckle system if there's... I reckon that's it. So I reckon that you're meant to flick the buckles away from each other and then probably pull it through one and loop it around the other. I'm not too sure, actually. I mean, actually, I suppose it goes in that bit, doesn't it, when you want to tighten it? Yeah, radioactive cow, it's absolutely stupid, isn't it? So all the COVID idiots are out in force, you know, spreading their germs about, as we were saying earlier in the stream. There we go. This is Igovsky. This is a Romanian M73 helmet, which apparently is originally a Dutch helmet that they basically just copied the design of, like Dutch 1920s helmet. So yeah, this isn't going to be a very energetic stream just because it's really, really hot. So basically, I've got the aircon on. You know, once I've done the stream, we'll need to get a video done on this helmet. No, the M10 is not a good gas mask unless you just want it as a particle mask. Well, not really done much Warbird in all honesty, just because it's bloody hot. So, you know, I've been sat around the house trying to keep as cool as possible. I've got a Romanian M85 gas mask and I've got this Romanian helmet. Obviously don't have any Romanian guns because I'm in the UK. Well, you can adjust the liner to make it sit lower, but basically the height the helmet sits on your head is how you've adjusted the liner for it to fit. Oh yeah, sitting on a packed beach while there's a deadly virus going around. Yeah, plus in the heat. Action Man, Amazon, eBay. Amazon or eBay, I mean. But there's generally not much on Amazon. Sometimes AliExpress actually has alright stuff on it. But yeah, so today I'm not really doing much. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody, if you've just joined. I'm not sure, Stug. I've never tried to pull mine off. All right, hi. I don't know who that is, Riley, I'm afraid. Unless it's somebody you posted a lot, but I can't literally remember everybody's names that joins these streams. It's a bit of a weird way of putting it, Blooper, but if you mean deactivated guns, yes. They certainly would not stop a rifle round bottle cutter. That's literally physically impossible for a helmet unless it's really thick steel to stop a rifle round. Just to warn people, I'm getting a bit suspicious of some of the comments on here that they're trying to be a bit of a wind-up. But yeah, steel helmets, for those people that don't know, were literally designed to stop shrapnel. You know, like stuff coming off of grenades or shells, or like mud being thrown up from explosions. If you're lucky, they'd stop a pistol round. If you were really lucky, a rifle round, if it hit you at the, you know, right angle for you in a sense, might deflect off the helmet. But they would certainly not stop a rifle round if somebody just shot, you know, forward facing into it. And the problem is even modern helmets that can technically stop rifle rounds, like the thermoplastic ones, even then your neck could still snap, you know, or you could still get brain damage from the impact hitting you, because the problem is the force doesn't just suddenly stop when it hits the helmet. Yeah, hello to everybody joining anyway. Yeah, I've said that before, Riley. It was done by what's his name? Mike B, is it? But yeah, That's basically the same helmet as the American ECH. It's just the British one that's bought on the license from America. ACH and ECH are different helmets. Spaghetti Bolognese. The ACH, I think, is the one that's basically like the Pasca, isn't it? So that would probably be 3A because it's Kevlar. The one that's like level 3 helmet is the ECH because it's the one that basically stops most common rifle rounds. Most expensive piece of gear. Probably the Martini Henry. Right, because this person's asked 2 dumb questions in a row, I'm getting rid of them. Because I cleaned it and then I bought more shit, didn't I? But yeah, I'm just going to warn people, I'm not really in the mood for people asking dumb questions, so if there's people in a row asking dumb questions, it makes me think they're doing it on purpose and they're just going to get a block. But yeah, weirdly, stuff takes up room, doesn't it? I don't know if you know that, but basically, if you tidy stuff and then get stuff out to show people, or put stuff in the background, it makes a mess again. I don't know why I'm having to actually explain this to people, but it does get quite frustrating when people whinge more about what's in the background than, whatever else. Especially because when there's nothing there, people are like, oh, can we see that? Can we see this? And then when you put it there, like, oh, it looks messy. I don't know why I'm letting that bloke, do that. But, oh, well, he's gone now. I'm sure he'll come back with another account like they always do. Which helmet, Bottle Cusser? There's more than one British helmet. If you mean the modern British helmets, then obviously no. If you mean the helmets that the equivalent in the Cold War, it probably was better, or at least the same. That's probably pretty classified radioactive cow, but I'd assume, seeing as the PDRM-82Ds are technically out of service now, they probably just use a little dosimeter, like badge type things. A lot of armies do that now. They're quite boring. It's stored somewhere, Giovanni. Oh, I'd rather have a steel helmet than the standard Mark 6, but every single helmet made is better than the standard Mark 6, unless it's a Mark 6A. Yeah, that's the thing. I like having a couple hype just because, again, like you said, they're really practical because you can just literally have it on your belt or in a pocket, and you don't even have to think about it because they're so lightweight and cover such a good range. But they're very boring when it comes to aesthetics and everything else. I suppose that's the problem with lots of tech when it becomes really, really practical. It just ends up being like a smartphone type thing, doesn't it, rather than an actual, weird, interesting looking device. But yeah, for the people that don't know, I don't have one in this room. I've got both my working ones in a different room, but little dosimeters are like the ones I gave Mike. They're like little pager type things that literally like a little plastic clip with, like a top facing display, and then that's it. Sebastian, can you not bullshit on here, please? There's a big Clive joke video where he said about that, and that is clearly a joke video. I'm sorry if you believe that, but, you might want to consider, what you believe in the future. Because, yeah, you are literally not going to have a bit of plutonium, like you said in the video, included in a ration pack, are you? Especially because plutonium can be used to make nuclear weapons. You do realize that, don't you? How do you mean Golden Globe? Again, if you're asking a question, you need to be a bit more, you need to be asking it a bit more specifically, like what you're actually asking about, not just what's it like in England versus Ireland. What you're about, the weather, the country, the politics? Come on. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Problem is, Hype, I don't actually know what the British Army uses now, because I've never actually seen any of it, like turn up in photos or eBay. I assume it's probably just US equipment, I would imagine, or something similar. So probably like those little handheld sort of US modern Radiac type things, I'd imagine. I'm just going to hide that person because he's been spamming the chat, Marcus. Like I said, I'm not in the mood for it today. I'm not particularly in a bad mood or anything. It's just I'm in one of those days where like I'm just going to literally start blocking people if they're wasting everybody's time in the chat. He was just literally spamming the chat with like stuff not relevant to anything. Like saying like he was just putting random words in and saying like, "What language am I speaking?" I don't care, do I? It's probably the heat, Stug. They're probably boiling and not got much to do. Right, I'm hiding the bloke who's asking, "Oh, there's a Romanian helmet on your head. So do you have a Romanian helmet?" You can piss off as well. It's a Romanian M73, as I've said quite a few times this stream. The thing is, I know somebody could have just joined and not known it was a Romanian helmet, but what I have found typically is every time there's something in the background, or like, I've got a certain gas mask on, people are like, "Do you own this?" Like, no shit, it's right there. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird stream today, isn't it? It's almost like it's a full moon stream, because you get lots of crazy people phoning the radio station when it's a full moon. LBC is quite funny when it's a full moon, just because of all the very, very weird calls you get. But yeah, I think with all the weirdos on, it's probably people who are really hot, sat indoors with nothing to do, so they're just coming on here to waste everybody's time. What, as in people are angry enough, Halon? Oh, Marcus has got rid of your message. I was just wondering, what is it, like the optimum temperature as in people are angry, but it's not too hot, they want to stay indoors and do nothing? I'm sort of interested in what you meant by that. So you're an island, Golden Globe. But again, you didn't specify what you meant with your question. If you mean the weather, it's hot today. I don't know what it's like in Ireland, so I've not looked on the weather report for Ireland, but I imagine it's hot in Ireland as well. Yeah, it is a joke. So, yeah. This is the thing, Sebastian. Make sure when you watch videos that you don't take every video on the internet 100% seriously, because Big Clive does do sort of comedy videos every now and then. He mostly just does videos like on electronics things, but now and again he will do joke videos. So, you need to make sure if you're watching them that you do, bear that in mind, that not every video he does is 100% serious. I prefer cold weather, Errol, and I never complain when it's cold. Like, I might complain if it's cold and rainy, but when it's just cold weather, I really don't mind it, because I just wear an extra light jacket or whatever. That makes sense, Halon, in all honesty. If you found an S10 for that price, Spitfire, buy it. Don't say about it in case somebody else buys it before you do it. Is that in Fahrenheit, Riley? Everybody except America uses Celsius. When you say nods, you mean night vision? Literally some right here. And I've done videos on night vision, so you should know that. Yeah, exactly, Laser. That's my exact point, what you're saying there. That, yeah, when it's cold, you can just literally put more layers on. It's absolutely fine, unless it's so cold that you get to the point where you've got so many layers on, it's like completely impractical. But yeah, but when it's hot, there's literally nothing you can do, especially here, because it's that really annoying kind of humid heat. You get in bits of Asia and like Florida. I don't mind countries in all honesty when they're hot, but they're hot in the sense of being sort of like a very dry heat. but the issue is here is it's generally really humid and sweaty. Soundgarden, I've not really found it is going to depend on the helmet and the mask combo, because the problem is not all helmets have the same liners, not all masks have the same shape. So is there a particular helmet you're interested in? And then I can tell you if it's one I own, if I found that certain masks don't work with it. So if you want to get a really good one, Marcus, that does all three, let me look up the name of it. Surviving the Apocalypse has done a video on it. But it's that digital one where it has a back screen which can read alpha. I've never used fast helmets. I don't like them, so I'm afraid I cannot advise you there. But yeah, thank you, Marcus. But yeah, in regards to that, if you go on Surviving the Apocalypse's channel, he's done a video on a Geiger counter that's basically, it looks a bit like this. It's not this one, but you know, like in terms of shape, it looks a bit like this, but on the back, it's got an alpha window that you can cover up. So basically you can read alpha, beta, and gamma with it, and it's got quite a good operating range of what it does. All right, Stu, you're right. It could have been the radius scan. That does sound right, but I can't remember without looking it up. Again, I'm just going to be obvious with people here. If you start going, why is your opinion this? I'm not going to bother trying to explain stuff to people. Right, I'm blocking the person that's obviously spamming the chat with stupid shit. Because first he asked me, did I have night vision? And then if he's looked at the channel, he knows I've got night vision. Now he's saying the roof's going to collapse, you have to wear a helmet at all times. Brilliant. Well done. Right, and I'm blocking the person asking about illegal shit. Well done, Bottle Cutter. You've earned yourself a block as well. This might be the most blocks handed out on a single stream at the moment. And I mean, I know the ones when you get a troll raid, you end up getting like 30 blocks handed out because they just keep coming back with new accounts. But yeah, I'm not, like I was saying to people, I'm just getting pretty fed up on this stream, even though I'm not really in a mood. Just, you know, people coming on asking stupid questions because it means I can't answer people's questions who have legit questions. Yeah, it was horrible. Acid is pretty good. You know, condolences to all the... Oh, Marcus is deleted. Condolences to all the people involved. But yeah, you don't store shitloads of fertilizer in a building for obvious reasons. Generally radioactive cow, they're like the anti-mask sort of people. But yeah, that's the thing, Hype. It's like everybody can have an opinion, but it just gets annoying when, like I say, personally, I don't like something, and then, you know, but yeah, why? You're not allowed to have that opinion, you know. I mean, I could get people getting annoyed at an opinion if you said something like racist or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, it seems strange when you say I just don't particularly like a style of helmet or like rifle or whatever. Favorite modern helmet, definitely that one, the Virtus. I mean, that's out all the ones I own, but just because it's the strongest helmet I own, it's also got a very comfortable liner. Yeah, it's the Darwin Award thing, isn't it? It's just a shame, obviously, it's done so much damage to innocent people. But Soundgarden, you'd have to ask Hype about that because I have no clue about buying tubes other than, you know, what I've bought on eBay, but I've always bought full units. Right, Golden Globe, if you're saying, do I have coronavirus? Not as far as I'm aware, thankfully, unless I'm asymptomatic. If you mean how am I coping with all the lockdown stuff, I want things to go back to normal, but suddenly I don't think they will. So there's my answer to that. He's literally above you in the chat. He's Frega in the chat, but yeah. Chat, but yeah. Yeah, I still have the PMG. Yes, you. I remember a couple of years ago we had to do some stuff on our roof, and that was horrible when the weather was really, really hot. You'd have to go up there and like do it in 10-minute shifts, you know, just because trying to put new tiles or whatever we were doing on the roof at the time, when it was so hot, basically meant that, you know, you had to be careful because you started getting a bit sort of wobbly because of the heat, and then obviously there was a risk of falling off the roof. Right, I'm getting rid of the person asking deliberately provocative political questions because they should know by now I don't ask them and they've got just a bullshit name. So when you've got a name that is literally just letters and numbers, no profile picture, I have very, very little tolerance to weird questions coming from them. No, it's similar looking, but this is a Romanian helmet. This is a Romanian M73, which is actually based on a really old Dutch helmet, apparently. But yeah, it's quite similar in shape to the East Gym one. It's actually less flared. The East Gym one's more like that. So yeah, this doesn't ring like the East Gym one because it's less bow shaped, but it is a good helmet, it seems. Probably not quite as protective as the East Gym one due to the angle on it, but it's still pretty good. Due to, you know, you can probably see there the profile of it's pretty okay, Marcus. So it was literally some troll talk sort of person, was it? Not as far as I know, Romeo, unless I've got one I just don't know it's that brand, but I've done videos on the airsoft guns, Spitfire Lover plays, so yeah, I do have airsoft guns. I've only got one very good airsoft gun. Actually, I've got two alright guns. I've got a proper airsoft pump shotgun, that's, you know, a high-end one. It is pump action, but, you know, it shoots the BBs out with quite a lot of velocity, and it's got quite a cool spread design. It's just pump shotguns are completely impractical for airsoft stuff just because of, you know, unless you're doing it for target shooting kind of stuff. It's just, you know, they're way too slow to keep loading in the little airsoft shells that you fill with BBs, you know, and all that. But anyway, what was I going to say about... I completely lost what I was saying about airsoft guns. Yeah, the airsoft gun I've got, which is the good one, is a Cyma one. It's an M4, but it's a V2 gearbox. I really wish I had a V3 gearbox because I absolutely hate V2 gearboxes, especially how part of like the motor, how it connects means that the wires are kind of really prone to coming loose. Yeah, it's good fun, but obviously the only issue with airsoft pump guns is as well that because you need to pump the spring, and some of them have quite, you know, hefty springs for compressing the air, that you can't rack them easily. You know, with some of them, you actually really have to grip it and then pull it down. It's a bit like cocking an air rifle. Well, it's very similar because that's how airsoft guns work, essentially. But yeah, that's the annoying thing I found with some airsoft guns is that, you know, the non-AEG type ones, because they've made the cocking mechanism like how a real gun would cycle or whatever, you know, it's not really convenient to do it that way. So basically it's like one of those things where if you had an air gun, what they probably do is my dad just came in and waved at me. What you'd probably do with an air gun is you'd have like a big long thing, like an entire brake barrel, so you get more leverage on it. The issue is with a lot of the airsoft guns, is that they do the thing where you know, it's like, oh, it's just this little short bolt, or, you know, like that would be on a real gun. But the problem is that you're then having to compress the entire spring based on like a little bit, if that makes sense. No, Stu, there's one mask I've got, or two masks I've got, which have been known to melt, but apparently it's more of a chemical reaction rather than a heat thing. Most masks are meant to be good from like -40 or -30 Celsius up until something like 60 or 70 degrees. So I've never had any masks melt. But yeah, most masks are designed to work in a crazy temperature range. Because obviously, if you think there'd be countries in the world where they need the mask to survive at like 30 or 40 most of the year round, in like some places in Africa or Asia. And then obviously you've got places like Norway and Finland and that where they need masks that can survive the cold absolutely fine. Yeah, Marcus has given you the absolute correct answer. But yeah, I'll wait for some. You need to just literally buy one Soundgarden that's pure silicone lubricant. Don't buy one with anything mixed in. As I've said before, I always use the Draper one, and the Draper one is absolutely fine. Fine, even not fine. The Draper one's absolutely fine. But yeah, you do need to be careful that if you're buying one that isn't the Draper one that I use, make sure you check the label and check that it doesn't have any additives, like additives in it. Don't use the don't use the ones that are just with whatever. And it's a bit like if you're oiling guns and mechanisms and stuff like that, you make sure you get the right oil. You don't buy just a very generic one, because sometimes that can be bad for stuff like that. Organic vapor filters should work for dust, but they're not designed for it, Oscaris. You want a particulate filter ideally. The thing is, organic vapor filters, because they have to keep the charcoal in, are going to have, like a basic particle layer on each side of the filter to keep the charcoal in it, but they're not designed for it. Oh, you're not planning on crossing the channel with it, are you, Richard? Because apparently that's the thing at the moment, is people coming over on kayaks. Some sort of butyl. Patchy Helly. I'm not sure the exact mix. Duke Nougat's a really good person to ask about, like, what the exact, rubs are and everything masks comprise of. Like, generally I can go, oh, that's butyl or that's silicon or whatever, but I'm not one of those people that can say it's a 20% mix of this and 80% that, because some people are really good at, like, knowing. If you don't check out Duke Nougat's videos, definitely check him out. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the S10 is just some sort of butyl rubber. But yeah, there's often no different mixes of butyl. For example, my favorite kind of mask rubber is definitely, it's actually pretty similar on this, on the mask Hype sent me, the MF11D. It's a pretty similar rubber to this one, the rubber the Scott M95 is made out of. And this is pretty much the same as the M98's rubber. Probably is exactly the same rubber, actually, because they're both Scott masks. But also the Forshida A4 uses a very similar rubber to this. And so yeah, this is like my favorite material that masks are made out of. It's some sort of butyl mix, but basically it's where it's pretty flexible and comfortable. It's not as stiff as like the butyl used in an S10. But it's still a hard wearing rubber. But yeah, you have to be sort of, obviously, that's the thing with rubbers. Let's just test the mask with this helmet, shall we? I don't think that quite works with this mask, just due to the shape of the bit that comes down there. Looks pretty cool, I think, with that, but I don't think the design quite works. Yeah. Let's try it with a more slimline mask then. I can take it out and try it, Hype, actually. That's a good point. But the blanking plug on this is a bit of a weird one. I don't know if this is a bit like the one on the... Yeah, I'm thinking this might be a bit like the ones on the S10s, where they're not designed to be removed. But I'll give that a go at some point. It's not coming off by hand. I don't want to force it in case it breaks it, but... Yeah, this, I reckon, might be one of those blanking plugs that's not designed to come out. Like, you know, it's the order your mask in what side you want it kind of method of supply. Well, this kind of works. Yeah, there you go. So this actually sort of works for this mask, but which mask's that? Sorry, Marcus. Yeah, sounds good, Rich. Anyway, I don't think you'd have any issue with the S10 if you're left-handed. They do a left-handed variant of the S10 as well. But I am aware, obviously, with the aircon on, it might be pretty difficult to hear me talking with the mask on, just because, you know, lower volume anyway, combined with in the background. But yeah, the thing you'll find with a lot of helmets and mask combinations is that quite often, if there's a big sort of front-facing lens, like a panoramic lens or big eyepieces on the mask, they often block the helmets going down properly. Oh, the M95, Marcus. Well, I think my one is technically not an M95. I think it's called the M110. It's basically just the M95 out the drinking tube. But I think, again, it's probably one of those masks where you have to buy it in the configuration. I think my M98, you can swap the thing on. Yeah, I'm pretty certain the M98, you can swap the filter ports. But you need, like, a tool to do it. It's not a... Yeah, with this, I'm pretty certain, looking at this, that... Because it's actually got an intake valve there, so it does seem like they've got that there, but I don't actually think that's going to unscrew. I really don't want to force it, but I might put some pliers on it later and just give it a gentle turn of pliers to see if it starts moving. But if not, I guess it doesn't come off. Yeah, my room is 31 degrees, apparently, with the aircon running. Well, that one says 31 degrees, and that one always seems to overestimate the temperature. It's gone down from about 28, 29 to 26.3 since I put the aircon on them, because I'm directly in, like, the air line of the aircon. You know, it makes it quite comfortable. Don't talk about illegal shit in here. Goodbye. Especially because there was no prelude to anything being asked like that. Thank you very much, Dank Magician. Yeah, Hype. Unfortunately, this is a house that was designed where people were very, very worried about, you know, like temperature leaking from it. You know, not the other way around. Weirdly, like with the other one, you can actually dismantle the what's it quite easily from these. Actually, that's a point. If I put this in like this on the what's that, the wrong size? It's not quite the right size. I was going to say otherwise I could just put this assembly in like that, and it would become an XL valve. But yeah, it's the XL valve assembly. Essentially, how it works is this slots in here like that, and then this bit screws on, keeping it in place but allowing the valve to open. Sorry, Marcus, what were you asking? Helmet's the M73, yes. Yeah, I modern insulation doesn't seem to be a thing you actually want in the UK, just because it keeps getting warmer, not colder. But yeah, what was Marcus's question? Because I thought there was a thing where he said a question and then I can't see it now. If you're asking me a question, Marcus, ask it again. Oh, ever seen an Affiche before? Let's Google it. The name doesn't ring a bell, so probably not. But let's have a look. There's a Vasisus coming up. That's an ancient Greek city, apparently. But that's in Turkey, so I've not been there, if that's what you're on about. I've been to some Greek ruins when I went to Greece, but they were ones actually in Greece. Oh, no, so you're asking a completely different question there then. No, I've never seen those. That sounds interesting, but I don't know if there'd be much practicality to it, because if it's an ARFA, it's going to be a crap mask, isn't it? Just down to the plastics and rubber used. Yeah, I will get an SSH-68 at some point, Stug. But again, I like a lot of this stuff. It's spotting stuff when it's a reasonable price. Because what tends to happen with surplus helmets in the UK is, in general, you can often get a lot anywhere between £10 and £50, and it depends when the surplus seller gets like a bulk lot of them in. Simply, wow, it depends what you wanted it for, doesn't it? Because like a rock climbing helmet's not going to stop pistol rounds, but it works as stopping you braining yourself. But if you mean with modern helmets, that's pretty inadequate if it can't even stop 9mm. But yeah, like I say, because there's been times when I bought like Polish helmets and things for like £10 or £12 when just a surplus seller gets like a massive, I guess, crate load of them in, and they're just selling them pretty cheaply. But when it's like looking for people to sell helmets like from Eastern Europe to ship them, sometimes they get a bit unreasonable then with like shipping prices and everything else. That's all right, Stug. I'll buy my own at some point. I've got the SSH-40. I've got like the Polish copy of the SSH-40. But the SSH-68 is a slightly more conical one, isn't it? Shaped like this. Let me just double check that I'm correct there. But I'm pretty sure it is the yeah, it is that one I'm thinking of. So yeah, it's basically like the SSH-40 but more conical, isn't it? Have you seen the cool Kevlar variant they did of that? It's quite rare though, but there's like a thicker version of it that they made out of Kevlar. But it was like kind of one of those stopgap helmets, but it's quite cool. That there's a helmet that's literally the same shape, it's just thicker and filled with Kevlar. It was awful, Paranoid Bambi, at least the one I got, because it was 3D printed and it started splitting. Yeah, let me go guess it. It's in the other room and I know where it is, so I'm just going to get that and show you what happened with it. Right, I'm going to show you the difference between a good 3D printed adapter and a bad one. This is a good 3D printed adapter, one of my patrons sent me. Basically, it's a really good quality plastic. It's quite thick, you know, and it's all really good. This is an example of a bad one. Look, see? It's like really crap plastic. So yeah, and you can see if you look closely at it. Sadly, I don't think the camera will pick this up. Let me put the light on. You can probably see like the weird texture it has, like a lot of 3D printed stuff has. Like it's quite porous, so I imagine gas can actually get through it. Yeah, see that? It's got like a really weird texture to it. At the moment, Scott, most of them tend to be like £70 over here, which isn't an awful price. They're bloody good masks, but really, I wish they were more like 40 or £50. Don't get me wrong. If you haven't got a gas mask and you're willing to spend about 100 on masks, 70 for an A4 isn't bad. If you want to get an A4, Prepper's Shop has them in at the moment. They're not sold out because they're a more expensive mask, so a lot of people haven't been going for them. Oh, speaking of Prepper's Shop, for anybody on that's interested, they've got loads and loads of ex-police body armour in at the moment, UK police body armour. You know, like this stuff. The Radiax battery compartment stuck to the back of that. Oh, that's weird. But yeah, Prepper Shop have loads of covert and overt vests in at the moment, and most of them are £40 to £50 each. So yeah, if you're interested in getting like stab-resistant vests with a bit of bullet resistance to them, Prepper Shop's got a load in at the moment. I saw that today on an email, and I went and looked through all their catalogue ones they had, and I thought, bloody good prices on some of those vests if you needed one. I don't. I've already got a couple of like, you know, different types of body armor and vests, but you know, if you are interested in getting, I think, for the people who are asking about them, I'm pretty certain they had these exact ones in for like £40 or £50. So they had these in, you know, the front and back paneling for about £40 or £50. So, you know, that's definitely worth getting for all the people who keep saying to me, where did you get that vest? And I said eBay. Prepper Shop actually have some in. Oh, and Prepper Shop, I'd never got around to doing a video on it, but I did buy some filters from them. They had in-date filters for like a really good price on there. They were like £10 each or something. I can't remember what it was, but like, you know, like modern 3M filters all sealed up with like years on the expiry date for like not very much. Do you like the bomb defusal suits? I don't have a bomb defusal suit, Stasi. The closest I have is like plate carriers and like ECBA vests. But again, I've got a flak jacket in the background there. You might be able to see it, the old flak jackets. The big green Vietnam style ones, or that's the British Northern Ireland vest. But yeah, Prepper Shop as well, actually saying that, did have, I think, some ECBAs in with the plates, but they're like 80 quid. You can sometimes get them cheaper than that on eBay, but it's not bad if you just wanted to, for anybody who wanted to buy them. £30 is the normal price from Ethan, but they've gone up because of Corona. Is somebody advertising a mask in the chat? I missed some of that. I just saw Marcus talking to somebody about a mask, but all right, see you, Golden Globe. Yeah, just to make it clear to the person if he isn't shilling or anything, because I haven't really seen all this conversation, I do sometimes get people come on here who claim to be like, you know, completely unbiased people who keep talking about how great a certain, you know, brand is of masks. And it's not like masks at a surplus either. That's why it gets quite suspicious, you know. But I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying that, you know, I've had that before where people keep going like, oh, are you getting this latest Myra mask? You know, and you're like, But for the people who don't know what Myra is, I'll just give a quick explanation. Myra is one of those companies that claims to make masks, but all they actually do is rebrand other people's products that they buy on license and then sell them at a markup. And the problem is lots and lots of people end up thinking like Myra is a reputable mask company. So they keep talking about Myra masks, even though they just rebrand other masks. So there aren't actually Myra branded masks anyway. And they do have Geiger counters now as well. There's a SOEX Geiger counter they sell at like a £40 price increase on the actual SOEX price you can get for on Amazon. It's literally a SOEX Geiger counter. But yeah, for anybody wondering, the majority of Myra masks as well are just literally check military masks. Which mask are you on about, Paranoid Bambi? I said these are absolutely useless. Don't get these. If you want a mask that takes both 40mm and 3M style filters, there are some alright Chinese ones that do that. Basically, there's this mask, but you can put there's like one of these that has like two 3M style ports there. Probably where those valves are, actually, saying that. As well as this bit, and you just have blanking plugs. I've not got that variant. I've just got the 40mm one because personally I like 40mm filters, not 3M style filters, unless I'm using a little compact mask. But yeah, Scott masks, Scott P79. I find Scott masks can really vary in quality. There are some really, really good Scott masks. I mean, sadly, Scott isn't around as a company anymore. But then there was stuff like the GSR, which, you know, they were making at the end of their kind of life as a company. And I think that's why the GSR ended up being so kind of meh, you know, ignoring all the ones that would literally get a soldier killed if they wore them, because they were like parts missing or broken parts, and they still ship them to the British Army. I think part of the problem over the GSR as well was basically that Britain wanted the M50, but then said to Scott, can you make the same mask but cheaper, essentially, which never works well with military procurement when you basically choose a good product and then ask another company to do you the same thing cheaper. And as I already... Oh. If it's Paranoid Bambi, if it's a proper one made by 3M and it's not 3D printed and it's made from like proper plastics... that might be all right, but like I'm saying, be careful you don't buy one of these 3D printed ones, because just look at that. It's disgraceful, really. Printing an adapter at a time like this. Yeah, Sieb Gorman, it's such a shame Sieb Gorman went bust, because Sieb Gorman made such cool stuff, because they didn't just make gas masks, they made like the old pressurized diving suits and everything. I've only got like one or two Sieb Gorman masks. I've got the weird firefighter mask they made, that the British Army then wanted in 40mm and then never got used. Because, you know, I'm sure Sieb Gorman said, you want a different valve design if you're using it with filters. No, we don't. We know what we're doing. Oh, this mask doesn't work properly because it's designed to be an airline mask. So there's that one. I mean, I know they could have used that one potentially with some sort of air tank or rebreather system set up with 40mm, but, you know, still. But yeah, Sieb Gorman actually came about as a like diving company, didn't they? Like making like firefighter gear and like, you know, diving bow kind of stuff and stuff like that. I think my civilian duty respirators are Sieb Gorman. I'm pretty sure it is. Although the stamp's really faded on it, but I'm pretty certain my civilian duties are Sieb Gorman. But yeah, Sieb Gorman were, just for the people who don't know, like Avon Rubber. They were a really, really good manufacturer of PPE and like diving equipment. But sadly, they were just one of those companies that I think they, like, sadly, like a lot of British companies, I think they're the ones where they basically got into financial difficulties, got bought out by another company, and then that company didn't really do anything with them and they died, kind of thing. You know, whereas something like... what was it? You know, it's a bit like Plessy being bought out by Siemens. So, for example, let's untangle from that, please. Okay. I've got the battery compartment open, so I'm not meant to leave the batteries in these. But see, this is actually a Siemens version of the PDRM82. because Plessey was brought out by Siemens, and then unfortunately Siemens didn't do anything with it after a while. So it's kind of, again, one of those dead companies. A bit like the nice thing is mini monitors are still being made, but it's a bit like how Mini Instruments got bought out by one company and then they got bought out by Thermo Fisher. At least Thermo Fisher's doing something with the IP, but for quite a while there wasn't any mini monitors being made because they were bought out by another company, and then of course that company did nothing with the brand. Hype says he loves my Brokhanova impression. Thank you. What was the question, Paranoid Bambi? If I saw a question, I'd answer it. But I did answer your thing, didn't I? But yeah, it's disgraceful, really, making a 3D printed adapter like this. Oh, that's cool. I like the TF1 Warbird. It's a pretty simple mask, but, you know, it's all right, isn't it? It does its job. Oh, fuck, I've got this stuck on my finger now. There we go. That was a bit worrying, and I know I could have broken it with a hammer because it was shit. My highest range Geiger counter radioactive cow, in terms of retro ones and actual Geiger counters, my DP75. The DP75 goes up to 500 Rontgen. Is that 200 or 500 Rontgen? This old Chinese one. But I have got a modern digital one that goes up to like 10 sieverts or something. But bear in mind that's just like a little bout dosimeter, so it's pretty boring, as I said. Yeah, the DP75 is 500 Rontgen an hour. It's the improvement over the DP5s and DP66. This one's 200, because I know there are a couple of meters like these that go to 500, but not one I have. There you go, I'll put it on so it lights up. So yeah, this one goes to 200. Quite a lot of counters go to about 200 or 300. I'm trying to think if I have any other cool retro counters that go high. I mean, CDV 715s and 720s go to 500 Rontgen, but they're ionization chambers. Oh, that sounds cool. So that's the old Italian rifle, isn't it, the Carcano? Yep, I've watched quite a few of BioNerd's videos. But she's not made videos in years, so who knows what happened to her, but yeah. Also, something interesting, which we mentioned before, if you get a Geiger counter with a metal case, they're far better at not being interfered with by like strong electric signals. Because as I've shown people before, but I just want to show people again that don't know about this, let's click on the plasma ball in the background. Oh, right, so there's the plasma ball on, and for the people who don't know what happens, plastic Geigers go completely apeshit when put near those. Steel ones don't. So if you're getting a Geiger counter, if it's aluminium or steel, it doesn't go crazy. But anyone that has like a plastic or a Bakelite case always gives a false reading on them. No, Marcus, because this doesn't do alpha. This just does beta and gamma. I think, like somebody said, let me get the video up for you on Surviving the Apocalypse's channel. I'll tell you what it's called. Hang on. It is the Radioscan. Okay, it's a Radioscan 701A. Surviving the Apocalypse, I think, says it's one of his best counters, and I would totally trust him with his opinion on Geigers, because he's not like one of those people that just has one Geiger, doesn't know how they work, and then says, you know, this is a brilliant counter. If he reckons it's good, then he knows his stuff. So, that's cool, Radioactive Cow. I didn't know that, so I might look out for GMC 600 at some point. We can find out in a second, Hype. I hope it doesn't completely fuck up my webcam, because that will be expensive. Anyway, I'll put the clicker on so people can hear what happens. So here we have this giving normal readings. And what I'll do is I'll put it on the screen where it shows you like what the maximum reading it's had in a period's been and stuff like that. So text mode. So let's set this to millirontgen per hour. Just give me 1 second while I mess with this to get all the things up. Right, there we go. So this is set to millirontgen per hour. It's technically millirem this uses, not millirontgen, but whatever. So see, at the moment it's at normal things, and you'll see it's got a total dose received there. Right, watch this. So currently, the total millirontgen's already over 3,000. So yeah, just to put this now back in so people can see the display. What's ended up happening, look, is it thinks it's been exposed to 6.7 Rontgen there, when it clearly hasn't, but the point is that plastic Geigers go crazy on stuff like that. But yeah, this is the good thing about like these Chinese Geigers that have the steel cases on, or aluminium cases, whichever they've got, is that, if I can get this open again, I don't know why I closed it up properly when I was going to test it. Put it on. If I put this next to the plasma ball, it still stays at 0 because old metal encased Geigers never have that issue, which is really good. Doesn't fuck up, so that's good. But yeah, let's see what happens then if I don't have the webcam. The webcam's not going to be long enough, I don't think, to get over there. Let's see what happens if we get it as close as we can. It doesn't really do much. It looks cool, but doesn't really fuck up the webcam, does it? Yeah, like obviously to a person, oh, it's tingly. But yeah. But yeah, the answer is hype. Weirdly, it doesn't do anything to it. The webcam. But with Geiger counters, it really does, you know. Wonder if the Victorine 450 gets false readings on that as well. Let's have a look. Let's turn that on. Okay, it's calibrating itself to a real dose, because it will keep dropping and dropping and dropping until it gets to background. But let's just see. Does this go crazy on there? Yes. 2.4 Rontgen, 3.1 Rontgen. Does it go even higher if I take that bit off? Yeah, the point is, though, it goes over a Rontgen easily on there. So yeah, it still fucks even with like these type of ones. Yeah, because it thinks it's absorbed 10 millirontgens in like that short period of time. Oh, sorry, it's not millirontgens on this one, is it? It's microsieverts, but yeah. The Schums, I would say, is much better because the Schums has the actual thing on it. That's not a very good explanation, is it? It has the metal bit at the bottom like the MM1 does. So basically, the filters and that are a lot more secure on it. What are you on about, Warbird? If you don't like these videos, why are you watching them if that's what you're saying? I wonder what happens if you put a helmet on a plasma ball. I might get electrocuted doing this, by the way. It won't be a fatal shock because of how these work. But is that going to electrocute me through that? Yeah. That's pretty boring, isn't it? Doesn't do anything. That's a good point as well. To be honest, the PMG does have flat eyepieces like the Shims, but the Shims ones do look forward better. Oh, right, that's cool, Warbird. Yeah, sorry, it's just sometimes you get people come on here, I don't know why, who then start moaning like, oh, why'd you have this stuff? It's like so boring and weird, you know. And then you're like, wow, why are you watching the videos on it in the first place? You know, it'd be a bit like if you went on some weird fetish video and then found somebody in the comments complaining about how weird the fetish is, but they keep watching the videos. It makes you go, you know. But yeah, the thing is, military and surplus, because the voltage of them is so high, but they're at such a high frequency, they don't really shock you, do they? Well, they do shock you, but they don't cause electrocution. They actually just cause like a weird tingly shock. But yeah, if you have something metal in your hand and you touch those, you can get quite a painful little zap from them. But yeah, the weird thing of electricity, and I don't know why this is, I don't know if Electroboom's ever explained it in a video, because he might make me understand it, is when you have a really, really high frequency voltage, they're not dangerous. It's like 50 and 60 hertz is dangerous, isn't it? But yeah, for whatever reason, like really high frequency stuff just tingles you. I think it does burn your skin, doesn't it? Yeah, light bulb thing. Yes, essentially it burns you, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, light bulbs. I've got my one over here. Messing about with this. Yeah. It lights up. Yeah, that's always cool, isn't it, how they do that? But oh, it's not magic, Marcus. I mean, electricity and all that stuff seems magic. It's why it sets the Geiger counters off. It's because it's basically ionizing the or exciting the stuff in there. Tritium does it as well, I think. If I put tritium on there, so here's some tritium that doesn't really glow very well in the dark anymore because it's an old bit of tritium, you know, so it's not active enough. But it's still got the phosphor there. That should start glowing here. Although I might need to turn the light off for this to get more obvious. But let me just flick the light off and see if it's visible. But some of these do work better than others, I've found, like with this sort of stuff. That's annoying. This tritium's not really doing it. I've had it work before with these sort of things, but why this one isn't really doing it, I don't know. But sometimes you can get these to glow pretty well under there. Is the other bit of tritium over here? Because I did have another bit, but I wonder what happens if you put a Crookes tube on a one of these. Probably nothing. That's kind of like magnetically pulling it on. That's interesting. Oh, that's tingly. That's very tingly. Shoot. Yeah, there's not enough energy to get through the vacuum of that. Yeah. But yeah, the thing is with the tritium, like I was saying, is basically with the Crookes tube, if I power that with high voltage, the tritium actually lights up when you put on the Crookes tube. It's just the phosphor getting excited in it. Well, it only works military and surplus. It's not the tritium glowing. What happens is the tritium, because basically how tritium works is there's a phosphor painted on the inside of a tube, like the glass. And then there's also the tritium in there. And the tritium, the radiation from the tritium, excites the phosphor to glow. It's like how the old radium dials glow. They paint radium mixed with a glow-in-the-dark phosphor. And the radiation excites the phosphor and makes it glow. So what ends up happening is the reason tritium glows in the dark and then doesn't anymore is as the half-life of the tritium decays, it gets less and less active. Yes, I do have a CDV 700. I've done videos on it. So basically, the newer the tritium is, the brighter it glows. And then the older the tritium gets, the less bright it glows. So it's just going for a half-life. But if you have the same sort of phosphors from the sites, this is an interesting thing. And you put another strong radiation source in them, they start glowing again because obviously the radiation starts activating it. But yeah, sadly, military in surplus, you can't really easily do it because you essentially just need to replace the tritium. And because it's like a gas-filled vial, there's no real way of doing that. Yeah, I was just seeing if there was anything else I had nearby that would be like a glow-in-the-dark thing, but unfortunately I don't think there is. But yeah, they are pretty trippy. Unfortunately, I don't think like the blacklight ones are very obvious on there because the actual colour of the bulb. Yeah, so you can't tell that's on, even though it's literally like the same stuff as this bulb, that obviously does glow when it's on there. But oh yeah, by the way, it doesn't work with incandescent bulbs either. It literally only works with those weird gas-filled ones. The reason being, so yeah, obviously like this is an old-fashioned bulb, it won't glow. The reason being that it has to react with the gas that's in there. The inert gas that's in here doesn't actually glow in the dark. Sorry, not glow in the dark. Doesn't doesn't react to it. I've got some old binoculars, but I don't have any and like old night visions, but I don't have any like old military scopes or anything. Somewhere, it's probably in the shed, I have some Royal Artillery spotting scopes, or like the range calculation scopes that my granddad randomly had in his shed, and I can only imagine sort of took them with him when he left the army. Yeah, these glow because they've got something horrible like mercury in them. So yeah, if you break those, don't breathe it in. Yeah, I'd have to find where they are, military in surplus. But yeah, I think it was my granddad being my granddad and deciding that he was just going to take them when he left the army. Because he's one of those people that every now and again will just say, "Oh, do you want something?" And he has like the most random items in his like shed or his garage or whatever else, or in his attic. I'll be careful what I say he might have on here, just in case you get the regular people watching that want to cause trouble. But I might PM hype in a minute because I think it's funny. But anyway, I'll be off now. I've been on an hour and 13 minutes. Thank you everyone that's donated. I won't be on this evening, obviously, because it's hot and humid and everything, and I want to relax this evening before I'm back at work again. But have a good day, everybody, and see you maybe Sunday. I won't stream tomorrow. I might get time to stream Sunday. We'll see. But yeah, bye, everybody.